Alright guys, such comic again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Some drama hitting the timeline over the last couple of days on Scump's contribution, remarkably, to the Call of Duty scene. Lots of reaction from the OpTic watch party guys to these comparisons between Scump and some of the other content creators that are retired as players and gone on to do other things in the scene. Lots of reaction from both sides. Enjoy to your thoughts as ever in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Just to start with a quick little scrim, Bush played Brooklyn. So, of course, they're getting ready to go for the final part, the final run-in now, certainly Bush Gaming, of the playoffs for the elites this year, and it was 3-3 in the end. The first black heart did not go to a conclusion. It was 200-196 and fellow disconnected. So tough to call a winner, of course, on that one. The Colossus, the Exposure, the Scar, all close, but Bush won all of them. The Den was really the only dominant map of the series. That went to Lurqxx, of course, and those guys, they took it 250-81. The other maps were particularly competitive, but the overloads, they were pretty comfortable in favour of Omid. So it ends 3-3. Just interesting to keep an eye on some of these scrims that are happening. Drazah straight back into some chals as well. We know that he had a pretty difficult match against, when FaZe went down, as they did yesterday to G2 Minnesota in pretty remarkable fashion in Game 4. Draz back to some of the numbers that we were seeing earlier in the season. Look, I still think that Drazah has earned a nice runway on this team, but it's an interesting timeline, isn't it, right? Because the league is clearly very competitive at the moment. Among the top teams, it appears that way. FaZe looked like they were number one, then all of a sudden, maybe not the case quite anymore after their loss this weekend to G2, a roster that was not expected to win that series by any means and was honestly looking on the verge of maybe having to blow it up after the first major. But now maybe Lqgend has a little bit more hope that there could be a future here in FaZe. Now, Scrap sat down with Hitch on the Around the Bar episode. He talked about a couple of interesting things. One thing he did say is that, and obviously X talked about this, that he was trying to join OpTic. I think we mentioned this briefly the other day, but if you didn't see it, I just wanted to make it clear that yes, Scrap was in the DMs of Shotzzy trying to get on that team after Champs Modern Warfare 3. In the end, we know what happens. He also said something, though, about aim assist. And this is an interesting conversation. It's a question, I know people have had it even, about some of the players that have started this game relatively poorly, like always the aim assist nerf in Black Ops 7 hurting people. Now, look, a lot of the casual players, this game has not sold very well casually. There are probably a few reasons for that. The campaign seems to be pretty terrible as far as I am aware and understand. Doesn't seem to be hitting the same as certainly the old Call of Duty campaigns. It was totally different gravy in terms of the arts that was being created compared to today. But also, last year was Black Ops 6, this year's Black Ops 7. It's like, well, who's going to buy both, necessarily? It feels like it's kind of the same game as a sequel, which effectively it kind of is. Activision even said they're not going to be doing this back-to-back thing anymore, right? It's not going to be MW2, MW3, or Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7. They're going to move away from that. It's not really working. I think the Game Pass has something to do with it as well, but it's not that this game doesn't feel especially well supported in some respects. Some of that is also likely to be the return to some level of advanced movement, as much as from a competitive perspective and maybe the more higher skilled players, they tend to like it. It adds more of a skill gap. A lot of the more casual lads and dads that make up a lot of the COD player base, they're not a big fan of the advanced movement generally. They tend to prefer boots on the ground without anyone flying over their heads. I get it, but equally, it just is what it is, right? Are you trying to compete? Depends what COD's trying to be. Are we trying to compete with Battlefield and be like a realistic, gritty shooter? Or let the Battlefield players play that and let the Call of Duty arcadey players play this? That's how I'd prefer it to be, but it depends how Activision thinks makes them the most money, effectively. So Scrap says, one of the arguments could be, and I don't know if there's that many casual players who play this game having experienced the aim assist as it now is. I guess by comparison it's quite noticeable compared to recent games. But are people thinking, oh wow, I need to go play Battlefield because the aim assist on this COD game is nowhere near strong enough? Because back in the day, people didn't seem to have an issue either way with the much weaker aim assist of some of the older Call of Duties when they were still appealing to the masses. So Scrap's idea is that for the pros, you could nerf the aim assist to make it weaker. I know that some have suggested, could you just turn it off for the pros? Just have absolute raw gunny. I think that would be probably not the best to watch. And, look, using a joystick, it's a challenge. I think aim assist is a necessary feature. being weaker as it currently is, I think is certainly better. But there is an argument that you could make it a little bit harder for the pros compared to the casual players. But I kind of want everyone to be playing the same game, because then you get a really good idea of how good the players are, although I think there is an argument to maybe turn off the aim assist on the snipers just in CDL settings. That could be an idea. But let's talk about this Scump drama, because this kind of came out of nowhere, really. A couple of days ago, Scump was in the news because it was 3 years ago then that he officially announced his retirement from professional Call of Duty. Then we got a couple of tweets hitting the timeline, right? So, of course, this tweet from Breaking Point says, forever a GOAT of the scene, whether you consider him to be the GOAT, I mean, at least competitively, Crim has more championships, but in terms of impact and everything, it's difficult to look past Scump. So, CDL highlights, who is just doing this for the love of the game, by the way. He's just creating impressions for the love of the game, because he did confirm, like, he's not monetized on Twitter or anything like that. He's making $0 from this. He's just doing it for the rage bait, and I respect him. But, you know, he's making a point that he believes is fair, and, you know, people have talked about this for some time. It's not a surprise this is coming to light. Go to the scene. Yeah, let's glorify the guy who makes millions sitting on a couch with zero investment back into the COD community, refused to fund a challenger's team, took gambling deals to rip fans of money, petty sued Activision and lost, and only watch parties as long as the gifted subs and donos are coming in. So that's what he had to say. And, you know, he says, Zoom has done way for the scene, fostering upcoming talents. Hitch says you went 1 for 5 on that. I don't blame anyone for not getting into challengers prior to this year. Personally, I think you're just a hating-ass loser. So, anyway, there was loads of reaction to it. He then doubled down and said, just to name a few creators in the COD space who have actually listened and given back to the community compared to Scump. So, you know, we got K-San, whatever. So, anyway, just thought it was interesting because I know that people have said this for a little bit of time, and often this kind of conversation comes up in the community. Look, before I share these couple of clips, my opinion on it is that Scump can do whatever the hell he likes. Like, without Scump, probably I'm not here talking to you. This scene would not be what it is without Scump. So, as far as I'm concerned, Scump basically gave everything to this COD community during his period as a player. Without Scump leading the way, Scump and Nature in many respects in the early days, competitive Call of Duty would not be what it is today. Now, you can have a debate about post-retirement, right? Sure. You can have that debate that Zuma runs these tournaments and these other things, but, like, I don't think any of that is even possible, really, without Scump and what he did during his playing days. Making all the content that he did when he was a pro player in the early days got me and so many others into the competitive scene, because they'd watch his pubs, he'd go and play some tournaments, and then he would talk about that and helped foster and grow the scene from a grassroots perspective. If it wasn't for Scump doing that, we wouldn't be here. So I think arguably Scump has done more for the COD community on the whole of anyone ever. Now, okay, so I think Scump wants to just kick his feet up and chill with his wife for the rest of his life. Like, I think he's done more than enough for the COD community, personally. However, people will debate this, and I think it is a discussion to have since retirement, because I know that before Scump retired, there was often the talk about, oh, well, if I was to retire, I could make extra content, or we could do this, or we could do that, and some of that's not happened, and as I say, I don't really care, right? Like, Scump's done enough as far as I'm concerned. However, people will have the debate, given, you know, what Zoom has been doing, supporting with the Stallions and all these things. So, anyway, I didn't really think it was necessary for Scump to respond to this drama, to be honest, but they wanted to talk about it a little bit on the watch party. So, yeah, I'll share what Hex and Scump and some of the other guys had to say.
What was the tweet?
Nothing. They just say I don't do anything for the COD community.
It's good. Yeah,
You don't do anything?
yeah, it's going
Yes.
viral. The people are changing their back on stuff.
Turning their back on set? Who said that shit? PR run like you guys.
About
They
you
fucked
about
up
to
his
get
night.
active?
Wait, you serious?
Yeah, fucked up his night.
Yeah, fucked up my night. Fucked up my night, man.
Damn, head to toe.
Yeah, Yankees not good looking. Yankee might be the smartest, but he's done a ton for this community.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait, you can't say that. You can't hit me with the he ain't good looking.
But
Yo,
he did a lot for this community.
yo, just
Beans, you
we
understand
need
the
a
tendency
Seth
of
response
birds
to the
not
hate
allowing him
tweets,
to
dude.
gain
Max,
information through the
No, we
minute
do
this
not.
time around.
We don't
'Cause Beans'
we don't pay
volume was
mind to
like
that
early
horse
into the
manure.
game, still has the boomstick to work with.
listen.
So
All I
he
know is
strikes
that
for the first
Damon
blood,
Damon
gets
said he's
lost.
got my back.
He rotated
Davis
over
got my
towards it to
back.
get the bomb planted, and Beans gets himself back
Yeah,
into
you're
the play,
chilling,
getting
King.
information onto Candy.
Thanks, Damon.
See, I got your back, but I'm just not gonna.
Great S&D
If I
early
engage with it, it's
from
gonna blow
Beans
up.
to
You're not
read
gonna
the
get into it?
adjustments. And now C9
As soon as I
game
reply, the
plan.
world sees it.
You got motion like that?
Of course,
course.
algorithms and shit.
4 in a row for
5-3,
Beans
man.
in
We'll see if
particular.
Boston can claw back in.
And if you're
Number 3, I think we've hit number 3 right now.
I was not going to put us number 3.
No?
No.
Where do you have us? 4 or 5?
I was going to put us 5.
5?
Yeah.
So who you got? You got
Ahead of
Carolina
us?
in front of us?
Carolina, Koi.
Are you going to put Thieves in front of us?
That's the one. Dude, I don't know how. Actually, hold on. Let me actually think.
I'm going Carolina 3.
I was going to go Carolina 3. I think that's fair. I mean, they're 3-0 post roster change.
I'm excited to watch our series against Carolina next weekend on Friday because that will tell a lot. That'll tell a lot.
They beat Toronto,
We gotta
which is a big one for me.
We got to beat a top team, bro.
Dude, I mean, this actually does get dicey.
Because we can't beat a top team right now.
We've lost to FaZe and Thieves. I think the Thieves one is tough because it's super recency bias, but
that loss was bad. Like, today's loss was bad. Because, yes, it was Thieves playing good, but also we played like shit. And obviously, we're always in.
Scump also doesn't have to sit there and do these watch parties. Obviously, it makes him money, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned, right? Like, I think it's totally justifiable that Scump can utilize what he has helped build over time to line the pockets for himself and for OpTic, absolutely. But also, he's lining the pockets for other people as well, because Scump doing the watch parties over the last few years, as I say, he could have retired, gone live in the mountains, live on a farm, right? Like, he's done his bit, arguably. Now, yeah, he doesn't like to do that. Scump likes rolling in the cheddar, no problem with that as far as I'm concerned. But him deciding to do the watch party, and at least continuing with that, the viewers that he's brought to the scene over the last few years, with the watch party being a thing, is far higher than if there was no Scump, right? So maybe some of the people criticizing Scump today, sure, I can understand the criticism, but probably some of those people are only in this scene because of Scump in the first place. And also, without Scump's watch party, the viewership of this scene is not the same, and that has implications for what sponsors the league can get, what sponsors some of the teams can get. The reality is some of these pro teams that they're ranking on this ladder right now, they wouldn't be liquid if it wasn't for the YouTube deal that we've had for the last couple of years. And the YouTube deal was based on numbers, largely from Scump's watch party, from Scump's personality and viewership, and without Scump, those numbers would not be anywhere near the same, and the money would be the same, and the entire scene would be in a worse spot. So yeah, you can say Scump should run more tournaments or whatever, but I'm telling you, without Scump and without Scump's watch party, this scene would not be in the same spot today. Like, the CDL is not great, arguably. There's loads of things I think we would like to change. I think it's set us back in many respects, but without Scump, we wouldn't be where we are. So, I don't know, that's just my take on it, because Scump's has been an important figure of the scene. So, I'm not going to defend Scump from all the criticism in the world, no matter what, but that's just my opinion. And look, he has run some shows. We had the breakdown a couple of years back. Now they're doing kind of a similar thing in this like post segment that they're doing. So, and they're doing the teleprompter and all these things. So, you know, they're trying to level things up. They're making some progress. And yeah, Zuma's live every day, running tournaments, working with the Stallions. But look, do you want Scump to just do the same thing as Zuma, right? Like, I don't know. Zuma has his niche. Scump kind of has his niche. It is what it is. So I'm intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. I understand the controversy about this and the drama, but I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say on the topic for now. So thanks for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.